noon sun hung high over the Wyoming sky, burning down on the wide-open plains like a furnace. Heat waves shimmered over the ground, turning the distance into a blur of gold and smoke. Cattle grazed lazily, horses stamped in the dust, and the quiet hum of the ranch life moved with the rhythm of the wind. But inside the McDonough ranch, quiet wasn't peace. Quiet was tension. Quiet was fear. And quiet was the sound Elia Rose carried in her trembling breath as she ran toward the old barn, boots thudding like frantic heartbeats. She was only 23, but the harshness of the West had already carved courage into her soul. Her denim shirt was half-torn, her dark braid messy from a morning struggle. A thin cut marked her cheek, a reminder of why she was running, why she was scared, why she had whispered those words. "Please don't touch me." Because something had happened that morning, something she had not expected, something that had shaken her to her bones. And it wasn't over, not by a long shot. She slipped inside the barn and pressed herself against the wooden wall, gasping, listening for footsteps, his footsteps. But instead of danger, she heard a familiar voice, a deep, rugged, steady voice she once trusted more than the sunrise. Elia, her breath caught, because standing in the doorway, had slightly tilted, shirt unbuttoned at the collar, dust covering his broad shoulders, was rancher Colt Maddox, the man she tried to stay away from, the man she failed to stay away from. His eyes narrowed as he stepped closer, concern etched across his weathered face. "I heard you running," he said softly. "What happened?" She backed away quickly, hands raised slightly, her voice trembling. "Colt, please don't touch me." For a moment he froze. Not because she asked him to stop, but because of how she said it. A whisper, a plea, a fear she never carried before. "Elia," Colt breathed, watching her carefully. "Who hurt you?" Her chest heaved, eyes darting away. "I can't say, not here." Colt frowned, stepping forward, but this time slowly, gently, as if she was a wild mustang that might bolt. "Elia, tell me what's going on." She shook her head. I don't want you involved." Cole gave a half-breath, half-laugh, quiet, disbelieving. "Involved? You show up with bruises, scared out of your mind, telling me not to touch you, and think I ain't already involved?" Her eyes filled with fear. "No, you don't understand, Colt. They'll come back. They'll come for me and anyone who stands near me." A shadow passed over Colt's face, a shadow of anger, of protectiveness, of something deeper he hadn't admitted in years. "Who's they?" he asked sharply. Before she could answer, a loud crack split the air. A fence post outside snapped, not by accident. A warning. Elia flinched. "They're here," she whispered, voice cracking. "Colt, please." But she couldn't finish, because the barn door burst open. A wind gusted through. Dust swirled. Sunlight sliced the shadows, and 3 riders stood outside, silhouettes against the blazing horizon. Black Hollow men. Men who had been searching for her since dawn. Men who wanted what she carried. Men who had already hurt her once, and would gladly do it again. Colt stepped in front of her instinctively, jaw locked, hand moving to the revolver at his belt. "Elia," he said without looking back. "Stay behind me." But Elia shook her head. "No, Colt, I can't let you." He cut her off. "You didn't have a choice about what happened earlier, but I sure as hell do now." The rider in the center, a tall, scar-faced outlaw named Brank Torin, spit into the dirt and growled. "Colt Maddox, step aside. The girl belongs to us." Colt's voice dropped to ice. "No one belongs to you." Brank smirked. "She took something from Black Hollow Mine, something she shouldn't have touched. You know the rules." Colt didn't flinch. "There ain't a rule in this land that gives you claim to her." Brank's eyes glinted with danger. "Does she tell you what she did? How she tried to run? How she begged? How she said?" He mocked her whisper. "Please don't touch me." Elia shivered violently. Colt's fist tightened. "That's enough," he growled. Brank's smile widened. "So you know. Good. Then you understand why she comes with us. 3 times she tried to hide it today. 3 times she tried to run. 3 times she's failed." Colt stepped forward, voice calm but deadly. She ain't going anywhere. Brank's grin twisted. Then you're dying today, rancher. In an instant, everything exploded. Gunfire cracked through the dust. Horses reared. Wood splintered. The barn shuddered under the force of bullets. Colt yanked Elia behind the haystacks. Stay down, he barked. She grabbed his arm. Colt, please, don't get shot for me. You don't know what they want. Colt's eyes burned into hers. Then tell me. Her breathing shook. Her fingers trembled. It happened this morning, she whispered. I found something in the mine, a small metal capsule. They said it wasn't meant for anyone's hands. Colt frowned. What kind of capsule? She swallowed. The kind that makes men kill for it. Colt's jaw tightened. And what happened 3 times today? She stared at the ground, voice weak. They tried to take it from me 3 times. And each time something happened. What happened? She hesitated. Then she lifted her sleeve. A faint glow pulsed through her skin, soft, rhythmic, unnatural. Colt's breath stopped. Elia, what the hell is that? She shook her head desperately. I don't know, but it's inside me now. And they'll tear this whole ranch apart until they get it. A bullet ripped through the barn wall. Colt pulled her close, too close, shielding her with his body. Elia, he whispered sharply. You listen to me right now. I don't care what's in your arm. I don't care who wants it. I don't care what happened 3 damn times today. His voice dropped low, rough, and full of emotion he never said aloud. You're not leaving my side. Her breath hitched. Colt, another bullet slammed into the beam behind them. He grabbed her hand, firm, steady, protective. We're getting out of here. Both of us. But, no buts, he growled. You begged me not to touch you earlier. I know why now. You were scared. But right now. He pulled her against his chest as the barn roof cracked above them. I ain't letting go. And as the barn filled with smoke, dust, danger, and death closing in around them, Elia realized something terrifying. She wasn't scared of Colt touching her anymore. She was scared of what would happen if he didn't. Gunfire tore through the barn walls like lightning splitting a tree. Dust rained from the rafters. The old wooden beams groaned as bullets punched through them. Colt didn't waste a second. He dragged Elia deeper inside, past the hay bales and the old workbench, until they reached the back wall. Elia, stay with me, he said, voice low but steady. Her breaths were sharp, fast, trembling. I'm trying, but Colt, they won't stop. They won't stop until... I know, he cut in. That's why we end this. Today, outside, the outlaws shouted commands. Horses stomped. Metal clicked as rifles reloaded. Brank's voice bellowed through the chaos. Bring me the girl. I don't care if the rancher dies first. Elia's knees nearly gave out at the sound. Colt caught her instantly, gripping her waist, steadying her. His touch wasn't forceful. His touch wasn't frightening. It was reassuring, protective, and she hated how much she needed that in this moment. Listen to me, Colt whispered, leaning close so only she could hear. You said something happened 3 times today. I need to know exactly what that means. Elia swallowed hard. It happened at the mine, at sunrise, she said. I found the capsule half buried under loose rock. When I touched it, the ground shook. Not like an earthquake, more like... She hesitated, like the earth reacted to me. Colt's brows drew together. How? Vibrations. The air humming. Light. I can't explain it. She released a shaky breath. That was the first time. And the other 2? Colt asked. The second happened when I ran from the mine. 3 of Brank's men tried to corner me, and the capsule pulsed. She lifted her arm. The glow moved under my skin, and they got knocked back, as if something pushed them away. Colt stared at her arm, stunned. You're telling me that thing inside you fights for you? Elia shook her head. No, I think it reacts when I'm in danger. I didn't control it. And the third time. She looked up at him, fear in her eyes, but something else too. Something like trust. When I reached the ranch gate, one of the riders grabbed me from behind. Just like... Her voice broke. Just like earlier. Just like when I told them not to touch me. Colt's jaw clenched. And the capsule reacted? She nodded. It hit him with a force I can't describe. He flew back 10 feet and didn't get up again. Colt exhaled slowly. his eyes narrowing with a new understanding. So they're not after you, they're after the power inside you. No, Elia whispered. They're after both. They think I can activate the capsule. They think I'm the key. A bullet ripped through the window beside them, exploding a jar of nails. Colt moved instantly, shielding Elia with his body as fragments scattered. Colt, she gasped. He looked down at her, dust on his shirt, determination in his eyes. I ain't losing you. Not today. Her breath caught, not because of fear, but because of the way he said it. Like she mattered, like he'd been carrying this feeling quietly for years. But there was no time to speak, because the barn door exploded inward. Brank and two more riders stormed inside. Colt pushed Elia behind a support beam. Stay hidden, he whispered. No, Colt. I said stay. For a moment, her fear faded, replaced by something fierce, something protective. She wasn't going to let Colt die for her. Brank raised his gun. Step aside, Maddox. Colt stood tall, revolver drawn, dust swirling around his boots. You ain't Takeener. Brank laughed. You think you can stop us? Your ranch, your name, your pride, it ends today. Colt's voice went cold. You boys already made 3 mistakes today. Brank snorted. And what mistakes are those? Colt stepped forward, eyes burning with defiance. You touched her. You scared her. And you came to my land. Brank fired. Colt dove sideways, rolling behind a beam, returning fire instantly. Bullets clashed. Sparks flew. The barn filled with smoke. One outlaw dropped. Another staggered, hit in the shoulder. Brank roared in anger. Elia crawled to a stack of crates, trying to stay low. But Brank spotted her. There you are, girl, he growled, lifting his rifle. Elia, run. Colt shouted, but she didn't run. She stood up, and the glow under her skin surged like fire waking inside her veins. Her vision blurred. The world hummed. The pulse grew louder. Brank aimed. Elia. Colt pushed off the ground, trying to get between them. Before either man reached her, the earth trembled. A shock wave blasted outward from Elia's body, a surge of energy knocking hay, dust, and tools across the barn. Brank was slammed against the far wall, his rifle flying from his hands. The other outlaw collapsed, unconscious. Colt was thrown back several feet, but he hit the ground rolling, absorbing the impact, eyes wide as he stared at her. Elia, what did you just do? Her hand shook violently. The glow faded. Her knees buckled. I don't know, she whimpered. I didn't mean to. Colt rushed to her, catching her before she fell. Hey, look at me, he whispered. Look at me. Her eyes filled with tears, not from pain, but from terror. I can't control it, Colt. I'm scared. He held her tightly against him. I don't care what it is. You hear me? I don't care. She buried her face into his chest, trembling. Something is inside me, something dangerous. Colt's voice softened, fierce and gentle all at once. Then I'll protect you from it. I'll protect you from them. Hell, I'll protect you from the whole damn West if I have to. She clutched his shirt. Why? Why would you do that? He pulled back just enough to look into her eyes. Because 3 times today, something tried to take you away. His thumb brushed her cheek, gentle as the sunrise. And each time, I realized I can't lose you. Her breath hitched. Her heart pounded. His hand cupped her jaw. Colt. But before either could say another word, Brank groaned from across the barn. He wasn't dead. He wasn't done. And he wasn't giving up. You can't keep her. Brank snarled, dragging himself up, rage twisting his face. Colt stood in front of Elia again, ready to finish this. Brank raised a knife, limping toward them. You don't even know what she is, he spat. Colt's voice thundered. She's Elia Rose. And that's all I need to know. Brank lunged, but he never reached them. The capsule pulsed again, not violently, not explosively, but in a focused burst of light that struck Brank's legs. He froze, collapsed, unconscious. Silence settled over the barn. Heavy, dusty, final. Colt turned back to Elia. You controlled it that time, he whispered. Elia wiped her tears. No, we controlled it. You grounded me. You kept me steady. Colt brushed a strand of hair from her face. Elia, what happens now? She looked up at him, eyes softer than they'd been all day. Now, a small smile touched her lips. Now we survive. He held her hand. We already did. She squeezed his fingers. 3 times today, Colt, 3 times it protected me. And each time. Her voice softened. You were the one I was thinking about. Colt's breath caught. Elia. But she leaned forward, resting her forehead against his. You didn't touch me to scare me, she whispered. You touched me to save me. Colt closed his eyes. And I'll keep doing it, as long as I breathe. Outside, the sun dipped low, painting the ranch in gold and fire. Inside, the barn stood quiet, filled with dust, danger, and something new rising between them. Not fear, not power, but connection. A bond that chose them both. A bond that the West itself couldn't break. And as Colt led her out of the barn, his hand never leaving hers, Elia knew something with absolute certainty. This wasn't the day she was captured. This was the day she was saved.